Today we hope to show you some of what Carnival Cruise Lines has to offer. So like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments if there is a cruise offering you want to know more about.
In this video, we will be taking you on a tour of the various decks of the Carnival Magic. We'll be skipping any decks that only have cabins, so let's take it from the top. Literally. Let's start at Serenity on deck 15 forward. This is only for guests 21 and up, so if you want to get away from your kids, or from everyone else's kids, this is the place to go. This is the port side of the deck, or the left side for those of you who don't speak sailor lingo. As you can see, there are several clamshell beds, regular beds, deck chairs, and loungers. There is also a hot tub at the side for further relaxation. Again, there are no children allowed on this deck, so you don't have to worry about kids playing in the hot tub. Switching over to the starboard or right side of the deck, you'll see more of the same. However, this side also has a bar with waiter service for the entire deck. This is usually between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., but the hours may vary depending on the itinerary and weather. And it slipped past while I was talking, but there is a second hot tub on this side, directly opposite the first one. Moving down to deck 14 forward, we come to the upper level of the Cloud 9 Spa. Here you'll get the various rooms for anyone who schedules a treatment or a massage. It's also where you'll find the thermal suite. We'll be doing a separate video on that, and we'll link it here as soon as it's available. Like any hotel, there is no deck 13. So let's move down to deck 12 forward, which is where you'll find the waterworks. This is a great place to cool off on a hot day, with lots of ways to get soaked, including 2 big water slides, which you'll need to climb all the way up there to get onto. That one's got a few nice twists in it. Now this is being filmed early in the day, before it opens, so let's throw in a couple of clips of this place in action. The line for the slides is usually pretty long, as you can see. And of course you've got the big bucket. Going in, you can see water flying all over the place, if you really need to cool off, or force yourself to need to pee. Now let's jump over to deck 12 aft, the sports deck. There is no direct connection between 12 forward and 12 aft, so you need to go down at least one deck to get between them. The jogging track goes all the way around it, but you also find a lot of other things to do, like putt-putt golf. Over here we have ping pong. Then there's pool, cornhole, and probably some other things I'm missing. For an extra challenge, try any of these while the ship is moving, so you'll have to contend with the extra wind on top of everything else. At the back of the ship, you'll find a basketball court. You can practice, get a pickup game going, or occasionally there will be a tournament. This space can also be used for volleyball. And if you don't feel like working out in the gym, you can use the machines they have back here, in direct sunlight, in possible 90+ degree weather. If you're on the jogging track and just want to stop and see where you've been, this is what it looks like. There's more workout equipment here on the starboard side. Now might be a good time to use it because there's a little bit of shade. On this side of the ship, we have the stairs up to what is technically deck 14 aft, although the ship map considers this part of deck 12. You can play chess up here, but the reason most people climb up is the fact that this is where you'll find the ropes course. Again, it's closed at this time of day, so let's put up a brief clip of it in use. Okay, it's not getting a lot of use right now, but you can see what you need to do. I realized too late that I'd forgotten something in deck 12 forward. This is where you'll find the front desk for the spa, as well as the men's and women's locker rooms and the gym. Sorry I don't have more to show you here. Now we're down to deck 11 aft. The only thing here is Cucina del Capitano, the ship's Italian restaurant. Lunch is free on sea days, but any other meal costs extra. And here's that view from the back of the ship again, just one deck lower. Port and starboard sides are basically identical. Lots of beach chairs for soaking up the sun, with the occasional wall to guard against the wind. Now we come to deck 11 midship, which is essentially the Lido deck observation area. There are more beach chairs as well as some comfy loungers. One thing I forgot to mention that is not identical between the two sides of this deck: the starboard side allows smoking, the port side doesn't. Choose carefully. The forward portions of both decks 10 and 11 are just cabins, or staterooms if you prefer, so we are now moving on to what is possibly the busiest deck. Deck 10, otherwise known as the Lido deck, starting at midship. Plenty of deck chairs to grab some sun, and of course the main pool is here. One of our favorite things to do is to watch what they call the dive-in movies here on the big screen. They usually show 1 to 3 movies every day, although obviously it's just a better experience after dark. Here on the starboard side, you'll find the infamous Guy's Burger Joint. They're usually open from lunch until 6 p.m. Depending on when you show up, there may be a line that goes well across the deck. Here's where you get your ice cream on the starboard side. There's another on the port side. These are open from 11 a.m. to midnight. I got here too early. Here's the starboard side of the first buffet. You'll notice there's one on either side of the seating. There's also seating along the windows. All this seating, and yet sometimes you won't be able to find a table to save your life. Here we have the aft buffet, which also includes the dessert buffet. You can also take the stairs up to the Cucina del Capitano. The very back of the ship on the starboard side, we have the seafood bar. Everything here costs extra. And here's the aft pool and hot tubs, which we've gotten a glimpse of from decks 11 and 12. The aft bar is located on the port side, in case you were wondering. And just across from it is the Pizzeria del Capitano, serving very thin pizzas until midnight. Our walk back on the port side is mostly just a mirror of what we saw earlier. The aft buffet is the same on this side. However, in the middle at breakfast is an omelet station, and at lunch and dinner you'll find the deli. Again, the midship buffets are the same on this side as on the other, but in the middle you'll find the Mongolian Walk, in case you want something different. And we just passed the port side ice cream station. We are now arriving back at the pool area, opposite from where we found Guy's Burgers, and here's where we'll find the Blue Iguana Cantina, which serves tacos and burritos for breakfast or lunch, and also some nice watermelon slices. Decks 6 through 9 are all staterooms, so we're going down to Deck 5, the Promenade deck, starting at the back of the ship. Here we have the Prime Steakhouse, which is extra and expensive, but might be worth it if you're so inclined. There is also the Spotlight Lounge, where several events are held, including stand-up shows and karaoke, among others. Right next to that is the Play It Again Piano Bar, in case you want to drink around a piano, pretending you're living Billy Joel's Piano Man. Be sure to request that song, because the piano player totally never gets that request ad nauseum. To the left here is the Vibe Dance Club, for those of you who are into that kind of thing. And just past that is the Red Frog Pub, not to be confused with the smaller one up on the Lido deck. You want to go drinking at the Red Frog, but you don't want to risk getting a sunburn, head down here. This one can get crowded at times, but I've also seen it fairly empty, like right now. Next we find the Sushi Bar. I believe this also costs extra, but I've never been able to bring myself to check it out. Just across from that is the Carnival Insider Station. You can pick up information and potentially useful coupons for upcoming stops on your cruise from this desk. And now we've come to midship. First is the coffee bar, which also costs extra, but they will sometimes have some very good cakes and pastries. There's the menu if you're a quick read, or know how to work your pause button. And there's some of those cakes I mentioned. This is right on the Ocean Plaza, which is an often used area. It hosts several trivia quizzes and concerts, and gets crowded quickly for both. On the port side of the plaza, you'll find the Alchemy Bar. We passed the Red Frog a minute ago, and it's also accessible around the corner here, and you can get your regular drinks there. But if you want something weird and or experimental, come to the Alchemy. We're not done with this area yet. If you go out the doors on the starboard side and turn right, you'll find Guy's Pig and Anchor Smokehouse. It's only open at lunchtime on sea days, but it doesn't cost extra. Be forewarned, it gets busy at those times, and with the sun beating down on you while you wait in line, you'll have to decide whether or not it's worth it. And both the starboard and port sides of the ship have hot tubs here. Heading back inside and making our way to the front of the ship. To the left is a small area with photography kiosks. Don't get this confused with the actual location of the Pixels Photography Studio, which is on Deck 4. We'll be getting to that soon. Just beyond that is something a lot of you are waiting for, the casino. This is what I consider the main casino, which has a lot of machines and tables, as well as a bar and the cash exchange, and allows smoking. There's also a smaller one that we'll get to later. And now we've arrived at Deck 5 Forward, which is also the third story of the lobby, which you can see from here and can reach using the grand staircase. Up here is where you'll find what they call the fun shops. This is where you spend a bunch of money on clothes, jewelry, and little trinkets that you may or may not eventually shove in a closet and never look at again. If you continue down this hallway, or the one on the other side, you'll reach the upper level of the Showtime Theater, which we'll mention again later. See, there's the other hall. All of the shops here are closed while the ship is in port, and will open again when you're back out to sea. I would be remiss if I didn't single out Cherry on Top, which is the ship's candy store. It is really easy to spend a lot of money in there, regret it, and then come back later to spend more. Now we head down the grand staircase to Deck 4, which is the mezzanine. The entire area above the lobby and below the fun shops is where you'll find the Pixels Photo Studio. There are more kiosks to help you sort through all the pictures you've had taken, as well as physical copies of those pictures, but you'll have to hunt for them. If you have any questions or want to buy anything, there should be Pixels crew members nearby. Just remember, it can get busy, especially on the last day of the cruise, so wait times may be pretty long. Just like up on Deck 5, heading down the hallway towards the front of the ship will bring you to the Showtime Theater, this time on its mid-level. You'll want to be aware that going between the elevators and the area above the lobby on either side is pretty narrow, due to the placement of the Pixel service counter, the railing, and the couch. If a bunch of people all want to get by at once, which happens pretty often, it can be a bit of a traffic jam. By the way, where we exited the grand staircase is also where you'll find the entrance to the upper level of the Northern Lights dining room, which is currently on our right. To head towards the back of the ship, you need to be on the starboard side, as there is no path on the port side. You can't really see it here, but on the right we're passing the entrance to the books and games room, which is just what it sounds like, a place you can read or play some board games. And now on the right is the upper level of the Northern Lights dining room, one of the two main dining rooms on the ship. There are doors along this hallway, but again, the main entrance is back above the lobby. Here we have some artwork and the midship bathrooms. And speaking of midship, this is where you'll find the other casino I mentioned earlier. This one is non-smoking, but is also quite a bit smaller and doesn't have a bar or cash exchange. There really isn't much else midship on this deck. Now on the right, we're passing Circle C, which is the kids club for 12 to 14-year-olds. And right next door is Club 02, which is for older teenagers. To the left is the aft ladies' room. Here we have the aft stairs and elevators, beyond which is the upper level of the Southern Lights dining room, the other main dining room on the ship. And then the aft men's room. Then you have to go all the way around the corner to finally find the warehouse, which is the ship's arcade. There are a number of claw games, carnival games, and video games for your amusement. There's also a door directly into Club 02, but every time I saw it, it had a Do Not Enter sign on it. Like that one. Before we leave, I have to recommend the Pac-Man air hockey table. As air hockey games go, this one is pretty unique, and I personally have a lot of fun with it. We now move down to Deck 3, the lobby deck, and the lowest we're going on this tour. The only thing you'll find in Deck 3 aft is the lower level of the Southern Lights dining room, and there's no crossing directly there on Deck 3 because the entirety of the midship of this deck is the galley, which is crew only. So we're just going to take a quick look at Deck 3 forward. In the main lobby, where obviously there will be the occasional party, you'll find the lobby bar. To the port side is the Carnival Adventures desk, where you can buy and get information on your shore excursions, and on the starboard side is the guest services desk. The line at each can be pretty long at times, although if you're a Platinum or Diamond member of Carnival's VIFP Club, you get your own dedicated line. And of course, at the very front of the ship is the lower level of the Showtime Theater, where they perform their Broadway-style shows. There are also sometimes informational talks and special games held here, including bingo. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this walk around the Carnival Magic. We plan to have more soon, like the one about the spa's thermal suite. And let us know if there's something else about cruising with Carnival that you'd like to know about. See you later!
Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of new uploads. And while you're here, check out some of our other videos.